8:40 p.m. The 15th of November 2024. The rain had been falling for hours, tapping against windows like a restless visitor seeking shelter. The cold breeze swept fallen leaves across the dimly lit streets, carrying with it a sense of tension no one could quite explain. As though the air itself was waiting for something to be discovered. The town was unusually silent that night, a silence that felt heavy. A well-loved retired teacher in her late 70s, Mrs. Margaret Delaney, inside her home at the end of Elm Street, was found dead by a passing delivery driver who noticed her front door slightly opened. Paramedics arrived within minutes, but her death raised more questions than answers. Nothing suggested a break-in, nothing seemed stolen, but the scene felt wrong, too still and staged. Then an officer found something unexpected. On the porch, tucked beneath the soggy leaves, lay a small black notebook filled with numbers, sequences, symbols, and frantic scribbles. The handwriting was unmistakable. It belonged to 16-year-old Caleb Rowan, the quiet boy from 3 houses down, known throughout town as the boy who spoke only in codes. For 3 years, Caleb hadn't spoken a single word. His silence wasn't anger nor defiance. It was simply how he lived. He communicated entirely through numbers. They were his sentences, emotions, warnings, everything. Even his parents never fully understood him. Friday, 10:03 p.m., police station. Detectives Rachel Monroe and David Harlow sat across from Caleb in interrogation. Caleb didn't look frightened. He didn't look guilty. He simply looked distant. Rainwater soaked the cuffs of his jeans. His fingers hovered over the notebook as if waiting for someone to understand the language he had been speaking all along. Rachel leaned forward gently. "Caleb, do you know what happened to Mrs. Delaney?" Caleb didn't speak. Instead, he tapped the table with 2 fingers slowly, deliberate taps forming a pattern. Then he wrote quickly to 081855115-19, to 35185, to 1815111514. Harlow groaned. The kid is playing games. But Rachel recognized something, substitution cipher. Simple alphabet code, she decoded. Rachel's breath caught. 3 keys broken, not keys you hold, keys as in locks. Rachel leaned in, so maybe the house had 3 entries. But that wasn't the case, not according to the first responders. Caleb watched them, eyes shifting between their faces, as if waiting for them to catch up. Saturday, 12:14 a.m., Caleb's bedroom. Detectives received consent to search his room. The walls were covered with pinned papers, charts, sequences, street names, scribbles, strange patterns, hundreds of them, all color-coded, all meticulously organized. Harlow stared. "Looks like we just walked into a mathematician's brain." Rachel slowly moved her hand across a sheet pinned above the desk. Numbers formed a spiral around one word, hidden next to it. 512 for 518, 195519. 1315185. She decoded. Elder sees more. Her stomach tightened. Was Caleb warning someone? Or had he been trying to? Saturday, 6:47 a.m. Autopsy summary arrives. Mrs. Delaney didn't die from natural causes. She had been poisoned. A rare toxin. Slow-acting, odorless, almost undetectable unless tested for specifically. Rachel swallowed hard. Someone wanted it to look like she died peacefully. Someone smart, patient, and precise. Harlow frowned. Who poisons an old woman? And why would Caleb know anything about it? Saturday, 9:22 a.m., second interview with Caleb. Rachel sat across from him alone this time. Caleb slowly wrote. For 11 for 7518, 31 to 15195. Danger close. He tapped twice. Again, he was scared. Rachel spoke softly. Caleb, who is in danger? Caleb's hands trembled for the first time. He scribbled violently. 385, the 19th of January 23, to 31181 for 54. She decoded. She was warned. Rachel felt a chill. He tried to warn Mrs. Delaney. Saturday at 11:05 a.m., Rachel found another coded note in the back of Caleb's notebook, 7118 for 514, 19854, garden shed. So they searched Mrs. Delaney's backyard shed. 3 locks were broken. Rachel guessed that means 3 keys were broken. Inside, they found a jewelry box with letters addressed to Mrs. Delaney, a folder labeled Rowan, an envelope filled with unpaid debt notices, a signed document from Caleb's father's business partner, Victor Hale. The same Victor Hale who had been rumored to pressure elderly homeowners into selling their property, but something still didn't fit. Saturday, 3:56 p.m., Caleb breaks his silence, almost. Rachel placed the folder on the table. Caleb was pacing, frantic. "Caleb, did he hurt her because of your family?" His breathing quickened. He wrote 811 to 5, 195519. The 12th of January 12th. Hale sees all. Harlow whispered, the business partner. He must have threatened Delaney. She probably refused to sign something. Caleb scribbled violently. 8 to 5. The 19th of January 23, 2085185. He was there. Rachel froze. "Caleb, did you see him?" A tear slid down the boy's cheek. He tapped once. "Yes." Saturday at 9:30 p.m. Caleb gave one last coded message. 3151518 for 9, 1 for 1 to 0519. Coordinates, the detectives followed them to the woods. There, beneath old boards inside a rotting shed, they found a bottle of the rare toxin, gloves, receipts, and a handwritten note revealing Hawley's plan to force several elderly residents into selling so he could acquire and flip their properties. Mrs. Delaney had confronted him. He poisoned her and staged the scene. Case closed. Sunday at 8:12 a.m. After the arrest, Caleb sat outside the station with his parents' sunlight broke through the clouds. Rachel approached him gently. "You saved her," she whispered. "You didn't stay silent. You spoke in the way you knew how. And we listened." Caleb's eyes softened. For the first time, his rigid expression faded into something warm, and he wrote a final sequence to 018 to 1208. Rachel smiled as she decoded it. Truth. Caleb tapped upon high tiles softly, almost like a heartbeat. His language numbers was no longer strange. It was brave, it was powerful, it was him. And now, finally, the world understood him.
He never raised his voice. He never told his story the way others do. But every number was a word. Every pattern was a warning. Every silence was a plea to be understood. In the end, the truth was always there. If this story meant something to you, please like, share, and subscribe. It truly helps.